arrived. I only had a few seconds to process seeing them for the first time in more than half a decade because Jane, my 24-year-old, jumped on me. She was crying and kept saying she was sorry and asked me not to hate them. We stayed hugging for a few minutes. It seemed like she didn't want to let me go. It took Claire, my 18-year-old, to take Jane off me. Tori, my 22-year-old, asked me how I was. I looked at her for a few seconds. I was still surprised to see how much she had grown in the last years, but I also kind of saw the last 6 years flashing through my eyes. For a while after the divorce, I just looked at pictures of me, Sarah, and the girls together, remembering the good old days, and started wondering if living was still worth it. After a few seconds, I told Tori I had gotten a cat. I said that he was a great cat and my best friend, and if it weren't for him, I wouldn't be here speaking to her. As soon as I said this, all my daughters started crying. I was looking at them, crying on the inside but somehow still able to maintain my composure. They all said they were sorry for not believing me and begged me to forgive them. I told them I still loved them more than anything, but it would take time for me to truly forgive them, and they would have to show me by their actions, and not their words, how sorry they were. I noticed Jane was wearing a ring. I asked her about it. She told me she had gotten married to her longtime boyfriend 2 years ago. At this point, I was about to burst into tears knowing I had missed my daughter's wedding. I just asked if he walked down the aisle, and she quietly said yes. I just couldn't do it anymore and started crying my heart out. That monster stole everything I held dear and robbed me of one of the moments I was longing for the most, walking my daughter down the aisle. I was ugly crying, and I could tell Jane was sad as well. I told her that I would get over it and not to worry about it. She just hugged me again silently. We stayed like that for what seemed like a long time. After we broke off the hug, Jane said she was sorry once again. I told my daughters that I needed a few days but I would like to go to family therapy with them, and they agreed. Me and my daughters were catching up about each other's lives, and it felt good to have a normal conversation with them. They gave me their phone numbers, we said our goodbyes, and I hugged every single one of them tightly for a long time. Update 3. I would like to start by thanking everyone for their support. A user has been messaging me, and his input on my situation has been very helpful. I explained to him that Jack was always praised by our parents due to his grades and was somewhat always competitive. This user believed that my brother could be a narcissist and saw Sarah and my daughters as trophies. My daughters and I attended therapy last Saturday. I got in first and explained to the therapist my concerns about Jack being a narcissist. She told me my concerns could be right, but it was not certain. My therapy session was a bit emotional but good. I started by explaining how I felt during all this time, how many nights I cried missing Sarah and the girls, how I had nightmares, and how hard it was all for me. My daughters did talk, but it was not easy to understand their words. They were crying the entire time, and it got worse as time went by, to the point I had to calm them down and reassure them that I was not mad at them. The session ended, and we will attend our second session next Friday. Although I still don't know what will happen, I am hopeful I can rebuild my relationship with my girls. Also, I had dinner with my daughters on Tuesday. It went well, and they had the chance to meet my cat, and they brought a copy of pictures of us. It was a nice gift.